Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Jessica. I am also like a front-end developer, as like many other people already like have talked today. And yeah, I would like to show you what JavaScript is actually about. Like, give you a short intro where you can actually find JavaScript and why it's actually cool to learn something about that. And then later on, we actually have a couple of exercises where we get like some hands-on experience with that. So even if you have not coded at all before, that's completely fine. If you have coded with JavaScript before, it's also fine. We will just like go really, really slowly from the start and then build up something so we can actually draw finally on the canvas that Dennis has already provided to you. But as I already explained, first of all, I would like to give you like a short intro to that. And I would like you to introduce you to the definition of JavaScript actually, what the features are of the language. And yeah, as I can see it, and maybe a lot of other people would agree, JavaScript is like the language on the web. So like many websites that you visit that you use like every day, like for example Facebook or Twitter or whatever, they all use like JavaScript in really, really large amounts. So it's quite common to actually see it everywhere in everyday place. And it's also cross-platform, so that actually means like if you use a browser like Safari or Chrome, like all of your browsers actually understand that JavaScript is on the page and can execute them really efficiently. So this is really nice. It's small and lightweight. So this also means you can rather easily just start coding without like installing a lot of stuff onto your computer. You could just like start setting up a website, open it in your browser, and get coding, which is really, really nice to get into programming at all. And also the nice thing that you already heard about like in the in the presentation of Dennis earlier, you can actually manipulate everything that is on your website, like the HTML and the DOM, like the document object model, makes it possible to actually like control different tags on your website, to delete them, edit them, and do a lot of other different nice stuff that you want actually if you later on go into coding. And yeah, just like for some examples where you can actually find it, like often you go on a website and you have, for example, a really nice search field, for example, like on Google, where you can type in something and suggestions pop up. This is, for example, something that you would do in JavaScript. Because the fun thing is, like HTML and CSS, it makes your website really shiny and everything, but it only like adheres to stuff that is static. But if you want something that's more interactive, that moves or is animated or anything like that, it's most likely JavaScript. So also Google Maps, like the example that I have here, you can actually like have this really nice interaction where you can drag and drop and actually check out like the easer, for example, or you can like zoom in and everything. And this is like all done with JavaScript. You couldn't do this with HTML and CSS alone. So yeah, saying that, I think that's maybe rather a good argument to actually like learn a little bit more about that. So I would say after this short intro, maybe let's just get started with that. And first of all, I would like you to just open your index.html file if you haven't it open yet. That would be super cool. And if you then go into your browser, you could just control left, right?
Yeah, control left.
Or yeah, maybe I just use this one. If you go in your browser, then you can just like go onto inspect and just click on it. And what you will see then is like just like this window on the bottom, and it would be really cool if you can just click on the console, right? So if you have that all so far, you will see like this blinking thingy on the side. Maybe you see red arrows in it. Maybe I should also maybe show you the right one. Control left. Where can I actually access the files? Can you maybe help me shortly? Just the empty file, like just the empty index.html. Would be super. Ja, oder so. Ja. Cool. Ja, danke. And as you can see in this example, right here, we can already start in this console to actually write our first line of JavaScript code. And it's really nice. There are like different, rather easy features that you can use in your console. For example, it's like the console log command, and it actually allows you to give back some code in your console directly after you actually insert that and just hit enter. So as you can already see here, Dennis already put in a command here in his console, and if you actually hit enter, the console gives back directly the exact same text that you put into the bracket. It says "Hello World." Yeah, I don't know either, actually. Okay. No? But I'm not so experienced, actually, with that either. Can I do it here? Does it work here? Steuerung Shift.
I can show you how.
Yeah, can you do it here?
No, I can do this. But
Okay, yeah. Then let's maybe do it here until now. I'm not so Mac proficient yet. How can I turn to the left if I want to? If I have that up? Do you have it? Ah, nice. Yeah, that's technique. Okay, cool. Yeah, as you can see here, the console will just give you back the command. Wonderful. And now for the first exercise, I would actually Can I have your attention? Okay, thanks. For the exercise, I would actually like you to write your own console log now to your own console. Just writing something about the weather, what you think about today's weather, and just also create a sentence that you actually put into your console log command, and then just hit enter on your console. I would just like to do that just to see what happens for yourself. If anyone has issues, just raise your hand. A mentor will be with you. Also remember to always use your quotes. If you don't use the quotes, you will have some issues to actually make it log to the console. So always open your text with a quote and end it with a quote. Everyone happy so far? All up to date? Huh? So I just show you a solution how it could have looked like. You could, for example, write something like console.log, the weather in Munich is sunny today, and just a semicolon at the end so you actually can enter it. And if you enter that into your console, you actually see the same as here on the side, the weather in Munich is sunny today. Wonderful. In almost any programming language, you sometimes have like a storage, like something like a wrapper, where you can actually like save values. This is like a really basic concept actually. And in JavaScript, something like this also exists. It's like called variables, as probably in many other languages as well. And it's like introduced with a var keyword. So for example, in this line, we also create a variable. And we introduce this with the var keyword, and we give it a name. It could be any name that you really find really distinctive for the value you want to store in it. For example, it's the weather. And with the equal sign, we said, please assign this text that we have here, which is sunny, to the variable weather. Then after we did this, like actually created a variable, we can use this variable anywhere in the code afterwards. It always has to go below. So for example, the next line below the creation of the variable, we can also do a console log again, but this time we don't write the plain sentence as we did before, but we substitute the word sunny with the variable we have set before. So we could write, quote, the weather in Munich is, plus, weather plus, quote today, quote. And yeah, as you can imagine, what would happen here, you see the sentence again. And now what I would really like to do is like get into this example here and try it out for yourself. So first of all, I wanted to introduce it to you. So we set here like the variable sunny, and then we console log the whole sentence as we did before. But now, in the next line, we have the weather variable, and we assign it a new value. This time it's rainy. And then we console log the exact same statement that we had before, again with the same variable. But still, I would like you to type these things into your console and check it for yourself what actually the output is. You can always, like, if you type in a line into your console, just hit enter and then go on to the next line. Yeah, just try it out for yourself. So everyone happy so far? So this is how it could have looked like. As you already see here, we assign like the variable weather in the next line after we had like the sunny statement. And what actually happens is the variable is reset again, so our statement changes. First, in the first console log, we have the weather Munich is sunny today, but then the next output, we have the weather Munich is rainy today. So this is really powerful, actually, like reassign values to variables in your code. And yeah, we will see that probably more often in our next exercises. A really common concept that you also have is like that sometimes you do stuff in your program for a several amount of times. For example, you could imagine like probably any one of you has already like filled in some Excel sheets like with lines of data, stuff like that. Usually you want like computers actually do like this really monotonous work for you. So what you use like also in JavaScript is called loops. And a really common type of loop is actually the for loop, introduced with the for keyword. And what you can use it for, you actually repeat like instructions in your code again and again, and you can actually also define how often you want to do that. So in this example, we have a for loop that actually does something for us 3 times. And the way how we define the for loop to actually do that is we set up a variable and we say, please start counting from 0 up to 2 actually, and yeah, please stop actually if you realize it's already counted up to 3. And we want, this is like the declaration in the end, we want to count up by 1, which actually means every time, yeah, our code actually starts here in this do something for 3 times area, which is just a comment, by the way, like this 2 slashes. It just means it's a comment you could put in your own code here. Then we want it to execute, then go up into the for loop, count up the variable by 1, and then we want to go it down again, and again, until actually at some point it realizes, oh, I'm not smaller than 3 anymore. And if it actually realizes that, our code will jump out of the for loop and execute whatever is below the 4. So this is like the basic concept of for loops for now. Also, for our next exercise, after you've seen that, I would really like you to use your console again to actually create your own very first for loop. And the only thing you have to do, you can take the complete code that you already see here, but what I would like you to do is fill in everything between the 2 round braces here. So this actually means everything that is a comment, you erase that, and instead write your own declaration for the for loop, as you have seen it before in the slide. And yeah, you can think about how you can actually realize to count from 0 to 30. Everything that is in the for loop will already be executed in the way that it will output your numbers. You only have to edit everything between the 2 round braces. And also please be aware, if you type into your console, you will write to have the first line, and then hit Shift-Enter to actually enter the second line. If you hit Enter after this one, you get an error. So just type in the first, as you can see here, maybe, and then hit Shift-Enter to insert console log I, semicolon, then hit Shift-Enter to get like your brace right. And after that, if you finish with this part, you can actually hit Enter to run your code. I can also show you the slide before that we had, so you can see again how actually a for loop looks like. And yeah, can get some inspirations how you can actually count up from 0 to 30. Please remember, here we count from 0 to 2, so 3 times. And I want you to output from 0 to 3. Also here you can see how it would look like in your console with this example. If you have any questions, just raise your hand, then a mentor will help you. Who needs a bit more time for that? Yes, wonderful, no worries. Yeah? Yeah, we get later to that. Usually in JavaScript, like functions return values, right? And if you don't return anything, it will give you like this undefined. It's just because we have this really simple examples why we see that, but it's no problem. Yeah? Sure. No, this is like just an example now, right now, with the numbers. But of course, you can also try to write your own for loop, maybe with a text or something like that. It's just for this example because I can show you the code again. If you take this code and just insert your definition for the for loop, it will automatically like print your numbers. But yeah, we will explain it with a solution then. But sure, you could do anything you want 30 times with this example. If you substitute the code inside the for loop here. Or what do you mean? Yeah.
Instead of the I, oh, you mean the name of the variable. So I could go,
Ah.
well, you mean like this?
Okay, you can substitute. Yeah.
You can do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You know. Yeah, exactly.
So, because yeah, the thing is because that's just how the Chrome console works. It knows that it's just the same all the time. So instead of printing it 4 times, it just writes.
Ah, okay. Yeah. Ja, das geht, ja.
Oh, yeah.
That works.
So, and because this just accesses the variable of I, and this has a different value anytime it goes through the loop, because it will be increased at the end of every. So, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, good. Yeah, it's a good question. Okay, we will move on to the solution, just that you can see that for now. So what you could actually do is just like type something like this. So you actually define your for loop again, as we did before in the example. And you set up a variable again, for example I. You could also call it j or whatever. And you set it to 0, because we want to start counting from 0, right? Then we say, please do the loop as long as you realize that our counting variable, which will be like counted up each time, is still smaller than 30. So we can guarantee it actually counts up at least until 30. And then we just get all the code we had before, we do console log, and we count actually a counter variable. And we know each turn it has another value. In the first one, we have it to 0, then it goes into here, console logs 0. Oh, this example is wrong, sorry, don't look at that. Don't look at those comments. There will be 0. Then it goes up again into the loop, +1, and then actually I is 1, so it would actually execute 1, and so on and so forth, until it hits 30, realizes it's not smaller 30, until it's at 31, and realizes, oh, I have to stop with this for loop. I will just execute whatever code comes below that, which is, in our case, nothing. And this is how it could look like. If you had issues with this example, don't worry, just later on we might have some time. Just ask one of the mentors, or you can also ask me to get you some help with that. Another interesting concept is that sometimes you want to execute code only in different circumstances. You could, for example, think about variables that you have set and they have a distinct value. For example, oh, you only want to execute like a code when the variable is set to Monday, because it's always set to Monday on the beginning of the week. And then you could actually say something, set like a kind of if condition in JavaScript, which is introduced with the if keyword. And like in this example, we do something really similar. We actually have a variable like called weather again, which is set to sunny. And we check for this variable actually what kind of value it has to say, do we execute the code or not? And here, after the if keyword, we can actually find what we check for. We say, if the variable weather equals sunny with 3 equal signs, actually, you should please console log this sentence, let's go skating. And only if this condition is met, this will happen. So if, for example, in this line, I would actually set weather to rainy, this one wouldn't be logged at all. You wouldn't see anything in your console. Only if sunny is right, then you will see this. And also sometimes you have a value and you still want to have a fallback. So what if it's not sunny? What if it's something else, snowy or rainy or whatever? Then you can actually also use the else keyword to make a fallback ready that the program executes then. And in this example, we have set the weather variable to rainy, and we say, if the weather equals sunny, we console log let's go skating, but else, and which is the case here because it's not sunny, right? We say console log let's watch a movie. And this is also what you would see in the console later, right? If you execute this code, because it will check for the weather variable, will actually find out it's not sunny. This is why it not executes this, but instead will provide you with a fallback. So this is like just an example how a basic if condition could look like. And for the exercise actually, I want you to write like really, really similar example that we had before for an if condition. And what I would like to have here is actually that you either console log one of the two sentences which are let's celebrate your birthday or let's not celebrate your birthday. And what you have to check for is also a variable again. It's similar to the example before. Here we have checked for the weather variable. And in this example, I want you to check for the has birthday variable, which is set to true. I want you to check if it's true. So you write your own if condition. You say, here I already started with a comment. You can substitute it with your own code. You can say something like if brace and check for the value of that, and then actually either console log let's celebrate your birthday or let's not celebrate your birthday. Do you want to see the slide before with the if condition to see how it's set up? Any opinions about that? Okay, I'll show it either way. So just a simple if condition, checking for the has birthday variable. We already have it here, or right? No, we don't have. Yeah, it's super. So you can always check here how actually like this one looks like an if condition with an else. And you could try to adapt it to this example. Either print out let's celebrate your birthday or let's not celebrate your birthday. If you have any questions, don't feel afraid to raise your hand. A mentor will be with you. I can also answer your questions. Yeah. What this actually means?
That's the check part, yeah. So then we'll return either true or false, and depending on what it does, the if condition goes into one or the other case. Yeah, I set it to sunny first.
Mm-hmm. You can also have a look here. We set the variable has birthday to true as here. And we can check for that. We do it similarly as in the example before. We say, hey, if condition, is actually the variable true? And yeah, if it is, it actually like the if condition says, yeah, it is really true, then we console log, let's celebrate your birthday. And else, like in the fallback, if it's not true. So for example, has birthday, has the value false. We actually console log, let's celebrate anyway. And if you do that, lucky you, you have birthday actually, so let's celebrate. Everyone up so far? Okay, super. Also here are like in the slides, we will also like load them up like as a PDF by, I think by tomorrow on the website. There are always extras, so if you like have a little bit bored or something, you can also try that out. For example, like this FizzBuzz thing, it's also really nice, really nice exercise to actually get a little bit more comfortable with for loops and if conditions. So this is also nice to look at. We won't do it now, but just for you if you want to work later on that. Maybe one of the most fundamental concepts in JavaScript are actually functions. And when you wonder what this is, it's nothing more than like some kind of wrapper that actually like, contains your instructions, and you can reuse them again everywhere in your program code. So it's actually, when I think about it, it's actually a little bit like a variable just with instructions in it. So for example, you could like a console log in it and maybe do some calculations or whatever. So this is like mostly a function. And the really basic example, okay, I haven't updated that yet, is that you actually have like written something like with your function keyword, and it's similar to the other keywords you have. You start like your statement for a function with the function keyword. Then you give it a name. It can be anything. It's like similar to a variable. You can write like, I don't know, answer or whatever. But in this case, we have like function as a name, my function. Then you have always 2 round braces. I will explain later what these are for. In this example, they are just empty. And then you have curly braces open and curly braces closed. And everything that you have inside here are your program instructions. So everything that you want to wrap in the my function, you can actually execute anywhere in your code again. So later on, if you have done that, if you have actually written function my function, you can later in your code write something like my function, then empty braces, and then just a semicolon, and it will execute everything that is inside this my function. And now you wonder, okay, we already had this question before, why is there this undefined, why is this happening? It's because usually you use function also to actually return values, like this is like the main principle behind it. So here we have this example with my function just returning one value with the return keyword, which is like 3, just the number 3. And the fun thing is what we can do now, we can like store every time when we execute this function, the value it returns, in this case 3, to a variable again. It's just nice to set everything up into very well-defined variables that you have already given a nice name. And if you do that, if you say my variable number should have the return value, so equals my function, this will execute, put the value into the variable. And if you then hit console log, it will actually, with this number, give you back in the console the number 3. What you then further can do, you can also input stuff into your function. So it doesn't only output, but also input stuff. This is like what the braces are for the round ones. You can, for example, in this one, in the double me function, give in a parameter, in this case like called parameter number. It's just a variable, it's just a value that you put in. And then, because it's a double me function, of course, it doubles your number, right? So what you do here, you do a calculation with the asterisk character, and you say, please return the value I've put in times 2. And later on, of course, you can use it again. You can say, okay, I have a number, I set it to 3, I give it to the double me function, and then please return the value again. So please put the value that comes out of this calculation into the variable my doubled number. If you do that with 3, put it in, calculate it times 2, put it in here, and console log that, of course you get 3 times 2 equals 6. And this is like what you get output into your console. You can also see it here very soon. So as you can see here, we set like the variable. So we say, please put the return value into here, and then thank you for live coding. And then, yeah, we get the value 6. So this actually works, right? So you actually really just set a variable, you put it into the function, and it does exactly that and puts it into a variable we can later log. And then you have the number 6. Now for the next exercise, no crazy stuff, really easy going. I just want you to write a function which could have been called multiply, but we call it multiplicate. And I want it to actually take 2 parameters, right? I want like a parameter, like similar to the number we had before, a, and another one. This is why the comma actually is here. It says, please take a and b, both as a parameter, right? And I want you to think about what could happen here, because the task is, please take these 2 input parameters and later on multiply both of them and give them back with a function. You don't have to actually, execute the function. I just want you to write it down. So just use all the code you have here and substitute everything with the slashes and the dots with the code that you need to actually return the multiplication of a and b. As you have seen, or maybe I write it down, if you want to multiply in JavaScript, you can use the asterisk character, like this one. So, nothing crazy here. If you think, oh, does she really just want that? Yeah. Just want you to get familiar with the syntax. So just return the multiplication value of the both. As you can see here, this is how it could look like. You just return the first parameter times, multiplied by the second parameter. And this is how you would actually write this function down. And now it's really nice, you can actually use this function, right? So you can actually for example, say, if you have this multiply function, please, I have now this really cool variable, it has a number 3, and has this other variable that has a number 4 in it stored, and please multiply this 2. And you can do it with as many variables as you want right now, because you have already defined this function. And in this line, after we have set these 2 variables, we actually can say multiplicate first number, comma second number, to give the 2 parameters to the function. They go inside the function and will multiply first number times second number, and then return those to the variable we have set in front. It will just obtain the return value from the function we call here, which is in this case with the 3 and the 4, or the 3 and the 5, for example. Here it's a 15, or with a double number, which is 6, we have an 18, right? And you can use it as many times as you want now with different variables, because you've already defined this function and it's reusable anywhere inside your code. So this was already theoretical, wasn't it? But maybe let's really start actually like with the site you have already created and that you want to make a little bit more shiny. So for this part, actually we want to draw something on our canvas, and if you haven't done it so far, I would like you to open your index.html file again in your browser. You would see like something, you would see something like, maybe you see it, maybe the other one, yeah. Oh no, not yet. Yeah, maybe you have to erase it or something. I think I have already drawn something in the JS file or something like that. Super. Yeah, see something like this, right? So your image is, of course, a little bit smaller because you have added CSS, but like you see your canvas right now. Super. So what I also would like to do, we will now go away from the console and actually start coding JavaScript in your files that you have. And as we have already introduced, we have like 2 different JavaScript files already in there. You won't have to look at the functions.js, but I will give you a short introduction of what like functions.js actually does. Like the element on the HTML file, the canvas, it has like a common syntax that you already have implemented in the index.html. It's important that you have this set up already in index.html. It has to say something like canvas, it has to have an ID, a width and a height. Just check if you have that already. If not, it's no problem, just ask a mentor and they will help you. And then, in our functions.js, what we actually do if we have this markup, we check later with a function that is already implemented in JavaScript called getElementById anywhere in the document to actually find something with the ID myCanvas. This will be put into a variable. And if we have this variable, we can later on initialize in this line of code that we actually want to start drawing on that. So this is something, just a snippet or something that's happening in functions.js. But it's not, you don't have to code anything on that. It's everything provided for you. The only thing that you will do is actually go into your drawing.js with your editor. So you can just right-click on it and open it with your favorite text editor, your drawing.js. And there you will see like a rather similar setup as here. You will see something like function, draw on canvas, circle, not random color, you just see circle. And then, you have it empty for now. But what you can do now in the drawing.js is actually, wie kann ich das hier öffnen? Sorry. Ja. Okay. Oh, cool. Danke. When you have this one, you can actually write something like circle and 60. And this is like not a function that's already in JavaScript. We provided it for you with function.js, but you can now call it here, right? So this is something that could now stand in your drawing.js file. And if you save that, so, jetzt muss ich wissen, wie ich das hier öffne. Nochmal den Folder, wo das drin ist. Oh, kannst du mal kurz öffnen? Okay. Ah, dahinter. Ja. Ich wollte nur das öffnen, genau. Cool, danke. Then you probably, when you reload that, if you have all done that with a circle, are you so far? Then if you reload your page, nothing is happening. This is not so cool, right? So maybe let's check again what we could have done here to make that happen. And we actually see if we go into our index.html file, okay, we have like the setup completely right. We have like our canvas setup. But as you can see here, something seems to be missing, right? Because we have the script functions already included, but here's something missing. And here at the exact same position, I would like you to add actually the drawing.js file. And this will actually like, but with small letters, this will actually like add the code to your page so it can actually be executed. Then you have to save that. And if you then go back to your page, you will see, after you reload the page, your first circle on a canvas. Everyone has a circle. Great. Huh? Okay. Also for the for the further exercise, you could also do something like this. You could set like another circle next to it. What you have to also to see is the parameters that your circle function actually gets are like the x coordinate and the y coordinate on the canvas. So everything that you have on your canvas actually like, has different dimensions, and you have something like here the x and here the y. And if you have a circle here, it has another x coordinate than here. So this is why there's like the 60, 60 and the 120, 60 to set two circles next to each other. But for the next exercise, this will be like the last one, promise. I actually want you to try to create 5 circles in a row on your canvas. So as you could have already imagined from the example before, you could just like write something like 60, 60 circle and 120, 60 circle and so on to get the 5. But actually, I don't know, I would like you to develop a bit. So it would be super cool if you could do it like in a more clever way, maybe using a loop we have already got familiar with in this example. So you could, for example, use the for loop to actually like, create these 5 circles in a row. So just remember what we already learned. A for loop will execute like the code as many times as you want. So if you already have the code to do something one time, you can do it in the for loop as often as you want. So just try to figure out how this could actually look like. I will also slowly start to do it myself so you can see. So you just are in your drawing.js, right? And you already have the code for one circle. And we know this one will be next to it, right? If we save that, go back to the page, we see the next one, right? But we want to have it in a clever way. So maybe we should, stick to the circle function for now. Maybe do something like, for loop around it. And the for loop syntax, if you've heard it today for the first time, it's maybe a little bit not so memorable yet, but it's no problem. You can also have a look here. You can actually like count up then, so maybe we start counting from 0 and go up to 5. And then we count up. So let's do that. But if I do that, it doesn't look right. Still has like only one circle or maybe 5 on top of each other, right? So maybe we have to manipulate something here. So we actually get every time different like parameters set to our circle function, right? Because like each time when we execute the code, there has to be another value for like the x in the function. This has always to change with every turn of the for loop. Because I want to set the circle first on the 60-60 position, then the 120-60 position, and so on. So I can, for example, multiply that with the variable that's already counting up. If I do that, I can actually see 5 in each row. Doesn't look so nice yet, so maybe let's count from another for another number. You can also see it here again. So what actually happens, we really just create a normal for loop again, and we count 5 times. So we could start anywhere. We could start from 2, from 3. The only important thing is that this one actually has a difference of at least 5 for the 5 circles, right? So we say, please count up 5 times in the for loop, and then we execute the circle code 5 times, but each time the parameter of the x-coordinate changes a bit, always by 60. So we have like the circles always next to each other. And also, if you want to get more familiar with that, with this drawing on the canvas, just also have a look at the extract section. Like, all the slides will be up by tomorrow on our website, Anita Borg Celebration Munich. And yeah, you can just check it out for yourself, because yeah, maybe this is a little bit fast for you, but that's totally okay. Just have a look at that, and you will get more familiar and more convenient with that. And yeah, that's already it with our hands-on session. I would really like you to give an intro into more of visualization and JavaScript and everything, but I think because maybe you are a little bit steaming already, maybe take like at least a 5-minute break or something like that. So like we meet again at 7:30 right here. So yeah, just feel free to have a break now.